Hi guys, welcome back. I know it's kind of a sad time because we just found out that we won't be going back to school, but we're going to keep it as positive and supportive as we possibly can. I'm happy about this week's project. I was so stoked about last week's project. You guys absolutely crushed that assignment. The shadow photography video is up on the YouTube channel. Watch it. See if you can pick out anybody else's work that really speaks to you or just kind of stands out because it's so strong. You guys absolutely moved me to tears with your submissions last week, so thank you. This week is going to be different. So far we've been focusing really hard on photography, and we're going to mix it up this week because if you don't already know, this week, tomorrow is, I'm going to share my screen with you. Tomorrow is Earth Day, and every year, well, typically, and those of you guys from Art Club, you know this, but every year we do some kind of fun activity or event for Earth Day, and since we're not going to be together, I thought that we could do a really fun sculpture project, art project related to Earth Day for just this entire week. It won't be due until Sunday, of course, but you'll have all week to work on this, and I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. It's different than just, you know, me giving you an assignment and taking photographs, composition, all that stuff. This is going to be just a little more outside the box, a little more loosey-goosey, a little more, just a little more earthy. So I'm going to try and go a little quicker through this PowerPoint so that you have more time for your other elective classes today as well. So Earth Day is tomorrow, April 22nd. On the right here, if you guys have ever practiced making cairns, this is something that I find really, really fun, therapeutic. It's calming, just kind of makes you stop and think. You are creating, but the creation that you're making is not about the end result that you get. It's about the process of creating. So is it possible to use the earth as a medium for creating art? And the answer, if I could hear you guys, but I know you're all going to say yes, yes, it is. This one here this is one of my mom's favorite sculptures. And I remember growing up that she would talk often about Robert Smithson's spiral jetty and how it inspired her. And my mom is someone who actually grew up during this time. So the spiral jetty was created in 1970, which I didn't even know this until putting this PowerPoint together with my mom, but that's the same exact year that Earth Day was officially put into place. Coincidence? I'll leave that up to you. It's in Salt Lake City, Utah. And so physically, and I have a couple more pictures, but you can actually walk out onto the jetty itself when the lake is low enough. And if you guys don't know this yet, but the Salt Lake City is actually salt. Part of what earth art is honoring the specificity of where it's at. In the 1960s and 70s, artists were, it wasn't like an anti-gallery movement, but it was definitely, there was a movement where artists wanted to break away from this practice of showing in a museum, creating paintings and putting them on display and people coming to that site. They wanted to bring the art to a site outside of a gallery or a museum. And at the same time, so this is a spiral jetty from above. At different times of the day, at different times of the year, the actual color of the lake changes. So sometimes it's pink, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's blue. And the jetty, I mean, it's just like any of the jetties that we have here in Mayport, in Jacksonville Beach, in St. Augustine. But this one is created by an artist intentionally to be experienced. So why the earth? So let's think about what was happening in the 1960s and 70s. This was when Vietnam was happening. This was also the time, think about artists as well. So during this time was Andy Warhol, and a lot of, I'm not gonna play that video. A lot of his work was about consumerism, right? Pop culture. Think of his Marilyn Monroe, his tomato soup can, all about buying, consuming, taking in. And so a lot of the earth artists were almost, not in any negative way, but they were almost taking a stand against that kind of practice and saying, let's get outside, let's make our art impermanent. It doesn't need to be like, you know, Michelangelo's David viewed 1,000 years later. Let's just make it for the process, the sake of making it, and let it go with the wind, with the earth, with the water. This video right here, I'm not going to play it right now, but I'm going to post it in the general channel so that you guys can watch that tomorrow. So just to top on what I already said, but earth art, land art, earthworks, it definitely was started in more of America, site specific. So it's all about where the artwork is made, the process of making it, breaking away from the art market. It's an environmental movement. Think about the fact that these artists were making their earthworks around the same time that Earth Day was even established and put into place. People were taking a step back from, you know, this concrete jungle, buying, having, wanting, needing, and just being with the earth. So just like I said, it's about the experience. It's not necessarily about that picture you get in the end, even though you guys are going to have to take a picture of the sculpture you make and submit it to me. I want you to enjoy the process of just creating, and you're going to be using the earth as your medium for this sculpture as well. And this image here on the bottom, I put in there on purpose because sometimes it's frustrating. It's not necessarily easy to stack rocks all together or to get all the colors of leaves you want in the perfect mandala formation, but it's about patience and slowing down. So you can go big if you want. All three of these are rocks. They're sculptures made with rocks, and as you can see, a lot of patience, a lot of patience. It's gonna break, it's gonna fall apart, but you don't have to let it frustrate you. You can just start right over where you were, and enjoy that practice of creating something that's not gonna last. Some artists use grass as their medium. You could use grass if you'd like. This one on the left, I believe, they used CDs for the negative space, and then the positive space is the grass itself, just in this path. And the whole point of this sculpture here, installation, I should say, is to walk this path. There are labyrinths in all kinds of different countries. There's a labyrinth here in Jacksonville Beach, actually, and the point of the labyrinth is to walk on this path, to slow down, to contemplate, and to think. We do live in Florida, so you could also use sand. They just opened the beaches on Friday or Saturday. So if you live near the beach and you're good at sandcastle creations, that definitely counts as the earth. It doesn't have to be sculptural like these. You could carve into the sand. You could carve into the dirt around your neighborhood or in your yard. You could go as elaborate as this one right here. It's a Lincoln Memorial. So these are the Nazca lines in Peru. They're incredibly large. The artist is still unknown, but most suspect alien activity. I'm not lying. So if you actually do look this up, they believe it was made by aliens. The Nazca lines in Peru, there's dozens of these images where there's drawings in the sand. So earthworks might be made by people not from Earth too. Leaves. So Andy Goldsworthy is a very well-known art, again from the 60s and 70s, but earthwork artist, land artist. This one over on the right kind of reminds me of like an emoji, but this is way before emoji time. This one here on the left is something that I think a lot of you guys might enjoy doing. I know that when we did our Zentangles, a lot of you went naturally towards more of a mandala design. You could do a mandala using leaves, using rocks, using shells for your earthwork project. This is another piece by Andy Goldsworthy. He uses sticks to create a bridge. Is this bridge permanent? No. It's in the earth for the earth to be temporary and to be released. He uses ice. I have another video that I'm going to upload for you guys probably Thursday of him working with ice. This is one of the videos I will put on probably this afternoon or we're not going to watch it right now. So anyway, your turn. You're going to watch the videos I'm going to upload. I'll do like one short one a day. They're all less than 5 minutes. Walk around your yard, walk around your neighborhood, find a location. For example, here, this was on a school campus, but find a location where you could create your earthwork sculpture, installation, project, drawing. You're drawing with shells or leaves or branches or twigs or whatever it is that you can find from the earth to make a temporary project out of. Take a picture of it and just enjoy the process. It's all about enjoying the process, honoring the earth, savoring that sensation of just knowing you're creating something and you're gonna let it go. Take a picture, submit it to me. Materials. So since some of us might not live near the beach, might not have a yard, some of us are in apartments and there aren't necessarily as many earth mediums as other places, you could also use recycled materials. You could use food, you could use toilet paper rolls. Anything that essentially came from the earth could be part of your earthwork sculpture. So this one here is recycled bottles. This one on the right is apples. I love this. A student or an artist used apples as their path for their earthwork project. So really the sky is the limit, or should I say the earth is the limit. And as always, it'll be due Sunday. The sooner you get it to me, the better, so that you could be included in next week's online gallery. I have so much fun making those. And when you guys submit your work late, you don't get included, and then I'm sad and you're sad, and I want everyone included in as many things as possible. And the last two slides I'm going to show you because I always do lead by example. I always have to have an example. This is a trip that me and my 5 best girlfriends took a few years ago. And as you can see, we're foraging across a mighty river. And down here, we are beginning some cairn sculptures of our own. And then over here on the left, you'll see some of the ones that we created facing the ocean, knowing that those waves are going to come and take them away eventually. And yeah, if this isn't what you and your friends do when you're on vacation, this is what me and mine do. So enjoy these cairn sculptures. Enjoy the process of creating. Please, please, please reach out to me if you have any questions. Think about symbolism too. If you're going to do a spiral, what does that spiral represent? Since it's for Earth Day, maybe you could connect it somehow to the cosmos, or some kind of ritual, or just something else that you could add, any elements that make this earthwork sculpture project more special to you. And I think that's all I have for you guys. So, as always, signing out, art class online for the rest of the year. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait to see your creations.